Happy Thursday and welcome to Ask the Shaman. Good morning, good morning. Ringing the shaman's bell. Open up sacred space, calling in the spirits. Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday, April 11th, 2024. I'm your host, Antonio Corianti, a.k.a. Anthony Golden Sunshine, your favorite shaman. Here for another episode of Ask the Shaman. Sarah, good morning. I wonder if you're still here. Is anyone here? Well, we're here now. We're in. Good morning, Paqo. Hey, good morning, Paqo. Hi, Brianna. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. It's another beautiful day. Hey, where did that go? I had something I was going to talk about. I had the printout. I left it somewhere else. It was something I was going to talk about today. So I'll just talk about it in a different kind of sense. But what I was going to talk about today is so I employ a lot of different practices into wellness to help people achieve wellness, and including myself. And I always test things out kind of with myself first, because I think that's really important for any sort of, wisdom. How do you know what something is or how it works if you don't actually apply this knowledge kind of to yourself? So one of the things I really like to work with is something called vestibular training. Okay, so vestibular, and it's all about your nervous system. And lots of human beings have vestibular issues, and they don't really even know it. And what this has to do with is generally our world, our society, especially here in the Western parts of the world, because of ADA, which is Americans with Disabilities Act and things like that. We've created a very kind of flat world. So there's lots of elevators, escalators, not a lot of steps and hills and terrain. Everything's kind of flattened out. So what happens is the body doesn't really get used in a certain way. And then inside your head is like your internal gyroscope. It helps you with your balance, your inner ear. There's a lot of parts to it. I'm not going to get into all the parts to it. I'm going to get in more to like the neural connectivity of it. It's learning how to rewire and use these parts of your nervous system that can begin to generate not just improvement in the vestibular system, but it gets beyond that and starts to come into the other parts of the brain. Good morning, Angelica. Last night's live was amazing. It was. I was on with Don Zeno last night. If nobody got to check that out, check that out. Our last episode of SOAR was fantastic. We covered all kinds of things. We talked a lot about like eclipse energies and things like that. A bunch of other things too. Whoever's watching, jump on in, make a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where people are watching from. You'll sometimes have people from different parts of the world, our World Soul family, showing up here in this space. But that's something I want to talk about a little bit today is vestibular training. And most people don't even know what that is or even heard of it before. So it's pretty new when I offer it or explain it to clients, when I help clients understand what's going on. So this applies a lot for people that have things like vertigo. So vertigo is kind of a big issue for a lot of people. And this is when you feel off balance, you feel dizzy. A lot of people may even have like motion sickness and things like that. And these are, we aren't taught that. We just go to the doctor and they give you like, oh, you have motion sickness. Here's Dramamine. They give you something to counter the symptom, but they never really get into teaching you how to take care of the underlying issue, which is a common thing here in the Western world with Western medicine. I'm not against Western medicine in any sort of way. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to cure or prevent disease. I'm here to simply educate you on what you can do about your own nervous system. Chicago. Chi-town, you know how we get down. I like it. The Windy City. Welcome, Sarah. So some simple things you can do to improve your vestibular system. Okay, because this balance, you're balancing your nervous system, and it's not just balance for walking; it's internal balance as well. I've seen people start to work on their vestibular system, and like symptoms of their life start to ease up, like their depression, anxiety, their worry. They're just feel a better quality of life. But there are lots of also other benefits too, especially if you're starting to get older and you're worried about falling. You have to start working with that vestibular system. So there's different ways in which it can work. One of the primary ways in which I work my vestibular system is through balance training. And people want to know usually, what is balance training? What do you mean? Like, well, it's really simple. What I usually have people start off with is start off somewhere where, like I'll have them like put like, if you're worried about falling, what you want to do is be somewhere where you can fall and be safe. So there's you can take the cushions off your couch. I sometimes have people do that, and it may put them in a circle around you, so you have somewhere to aim, kind of fall onto if you can't keep your balance. If your balance is really bad at first, but I try to tell people, make a little nest. And then what you do is you try to put your sock on and your sock off 1 foot at a time, without coming off your other foot. And if you do, you just got to catch your balance and come back. And it's okay to catch your balance. You're here to challenge it. It's a challenging balance kind of thing. So I recommend that. Try it today. You want to see how good your vestibular system works? Try to take your sock off. Try to stand on 1 foot, take a sock off, and put the sock back on without touching the foot to the ground. This will kind of show you where you're at. Most people, that's a really difficult thing because that vestibular system isn't working in a really fine manner. So the motor skill, it's a lot of balance issue trying to hold on. And that's just like a starting point. That's usually how I even test people. I'll ask someone, well, let's test your vestibular system. If I'm doing a in-person session and it comes up to me that, oh, I think they're having some vestibular issues, we'll start there. I call it the sock test. We see if you can get your sock, how that is, see how your range and everything that's happening there is. There's other things that one can do. I'm not going to get into all those. If you want to find out more, you can work with me. But there's other things that one can do having to do with the eyes. Eye movement has a lot to do with the internal gyroscope, the vestibular system, lots of things, even humming, even doing certain types. I use a lot of vocalization and sounds in healing because vibration is energy in medicine. Even when I do certain breath works. And we'll do one today. We'll do some resonance breath today on the show. Resonance breathing can be very powerful for your vestibular system, as well as your pineal gland, your brain stem, all kinds of things. And the most wonderful thing is you have the ability to create extra amounts of nitric oxide gas in your paranasal sinus. Your paranasal sinus generates nitric oxide gas, and nitric oxide gas is a colorless, odorless gas. And what its primary function is vasodilation. So relaxation into the body. It helps the body to relax because it dilates your blood vessels. So when we do this certain type of breathing where we're breathing in, filling up, and we're using that diaphragm, belly, chest, head, diaphragm moves. And then what happens is as you're exhaling, instead of going, blowing out the exhaler, letting the exhale out, you're keeping your mouth closed, but you're vibrating your vocal cords. It's like a hum. And your intention is to try to vibrate your sinus and your eyes. This takes a little practice because if it's not something you're doing regularly, you have to play. You have to kind of learn what works for you, what sound, pitch, and you can play with those things. And that's what I tell people: have time, play with it, learn about what's going on in your body. But it's fairly simple, and I'll kind of show you the exercise, and you can do this along with me. And where it starts is you're just connecting with your belly and your chest. I usually have people start with their left hand on their belly and their right hand on their chest, and just take a moment to feel this energy in their belly and in their chest. And Angelica, I know you have a headache. This can help you, okay? So Angelica, you have your migraine going on today, I want you to just sit here. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to connect with us. I want you to connect with your left hand on your belly and your right hand on your heart. And you're just trying to relax into your body, and you're first going to begin to breathe. And you're going to breathe from your belly into your chest and into your head. But for an exhale, you're going to hum. Mm-hmm. Again. You're building up nitric oxide with every breath. One more. Just relax for a minute. So what's happening is every time you're humming, you're improving, creating more nitric oxide inside your paranasal sinus. And then when you're breathing in, your inhales are taking that gas into your lungs. It's opening up all of your lung structures, your alveolar sacs, allowing you to take in more oxygen on the next breath. And do it again. So what's happening is little by little, you're dilating your blood vessels. And then what I do is I go a little deeper. I move into a physiological sigh type of breathing where it's 2 sniffs and a sigh out. And that sigh is more like a hum. Sniff, sniff. So now I'm moving more into that sigh. You're going, ah. Continue with me. Five more. Three more. Two more. And one. And then just relaxing. And then what I'll do is I'll open my hands. I like to sit and feel my hands. And what you'll notice is there's lots of vibration and tingling in your hands. Your blood vessels are wide open. You're moving lots of energy, fluid in the body. And what you've done is you've moved yourself into a very healing position within your body. And so we'll do a little self-healing here, just a little demonstration of how you can bring healing into your body. So now that you've calmed your body, you're closing your eyes, you're coming within your body, and you're bringing your attention to anywhere in your body that feels heavy, stuck, stagnant, sick, in pain, sad, hurt, depressed, lonely, frustrated, angry, unforgiving. And it's time for you to be really honest with yourself where it is that you're holding on to heavy energy. And getting out of your head and into your body, and take your awareness to wherever in your body needs the most loving attention. And wherever that is, you're going to begin to invite to you your highest power, the greatest love, the greatest light. I invite here the greatest light, the greatest love, the greatest power, the greatest source of healing and wisdom and expansion. It's through your invitation, your intention and invitation, you're bringing in quantum files of energy, potential and possibility. Ask and you shall receive. And we're asking for healing, release. We're asking for support and guidance. We're asking that all energies available to bring the perfect medicine here, come here. Come here. Come here. Begin to invite this energy into your body, this living energy, however it shows up. Your intention is what drives it. And invite it into your body wherever you need help, wherever it needs love. And this is where you use your mind's eye and disciplined imagination. And you begin to softly begin to breathe in. And you're breathing in through your nose, but your intention is to breathe in the air into wherever it needs healing. And out through your nose. Breathe in healing. I release illness. I breathe in love. And I release fear. I breathe in health. And I release sickness. You're just going to continue and breathe into your body wherever it needs it. Breathe into your body wherever it needs it. Breathe into your body wherever it needs it. And with light, with smoke, and with light, with smoke, and with light, out with smoke. Speed it up. Three more. 2. 1. All your air out. And you're going to breathe in light, life, and energy. Wherever it needs to go. Hold, and you're going to squeeze. You're going to squeeze this energy and light into wherever it needs to be. And release. And you're just going to be still. Let your breath return to normal. Hands are open. You're open. Taking a moment just to feel your body. Feel that shift. This is how you begin healing into your body. This may or may not take away your symptom right in the moment. It's not about that. It's more about bringing new potential and possibility into your body, into that energy field. So this opens up lots of potential. You're allowing yourself to release expectations of how it should arise. You've asked the universe, you've opened your heart, and you've taken it into you. It's through your faith, you're allowing whatever happens now to happen, allowing it to move. Because now you've just taken all the heavy energy out of what's going on. And what this does, this allows your body to begin its process of healing. Bringing in more frequency of energy, moving your blood, lymph, and cerebral spinal fluid. Making changes internally with your physiology, with your mind, with your intention. And now you've enveloped yourself with spirit. So now what we'll do is we'll do one more round. I usually recommend doing 3, 5, maybe 7 to 10 rounds. When you're working at healing yourself, don't limit yourself to just one round of doing this. Use several rounds, because sometimes there's more than one place in your body also that needs healing. Now, if you feel generally healthy and everything's good, you still can do this. And what you do is you use your entire body. I say, breathe into your body as if it's a balloon. You're trying to, as you're breathing in, Your whole body kind of expands, and as you exhale, whole body kind of contracts, and you expand and you contract. I'll go out through the mouth now, in through the nose, through the mouth. Breathe into anywhere that needs healing in your body. Release any tension in it through your exhale. Energy in, energy out. You're trading energy. In with the good air, out with the stale air. In with the new, fresh energy. Out with the used up, stale, depleted energy. And then we move into about 10 to 15 more vigorous breaths. And what I don't do is count. I go with the feeling till it's all really tingly. And taking a deep breath in. Bigger, bigger. Hold. Squeeze into wherever you need it. If it's your whole body, squeeze your whole body. And release. Oh. And just the waves of pleasurable neurochemistry begin to move. I can feel dopamine moving. Feel very relaxed inside. My whole body feels like a calm, still sea, but there's lots of slow moving vibration. I can feel the healing happening in my body. And after you do these breaths and you do your rounds, you sit there and you start to bring that intention, because it's all about your mind, your disciplined imagination, using this imagination that has not been developed. We're taught very young that your imagination is somehow unimportant or unreal. It's very powerful, especially when you begin to use it in your benefit. Instead of worrying about creating false scenarios in your mind of a future, you also can create perfect scenarios of your health. This reinforms your body. You're calling that energy here because your vibration dictates what kind of reality that you're perceiving. So your vibration now, you've shifted it through your physiology and your breath. And then what you do is you take some time to envision. If you envision yourself in your most healthy form, or if you have an issue, picture it healed or healing. Take some time to envision what would it be like if I was perfectly healthy, if I was happy and strong and free and I didn't worry and I had strength and courage. Taking time to picture these things in your mind and then inviting that energy here. I'm inviting that potential, my future self. Take a moment here and I want you just to invite your future self, your highest potential and capability, your healed, perfected self. What does that person look like? How do they move? How do they act? And you can take a lot of time doing this. This is a beautiful meditation. And I recommend it. Every day, take some time and picture the world you want. And that starts with you, your internal world. What would it be like for you to feel your greatest? It's just a question you're asking the universe. And you're allowing that to come to you. I'm allowing that potential to come here. And as you invite that, you can breathe in the potential. I'm imagining I'm taking in that potential and breathing it into my body and saturating my cells with new information. And I'm releasing all the old information. And I'm breathing in new potential. My health, my wealth, my happiness, and I'm releasing everything that's not in alignment with that outcome. Breathing in my greatest energy. soft and soothing, and releasing of anything jagged, rough, unsteady. You're breathing into your emotional self, your mental self, and bringing into my mind my greatest power, my greatest thoughts, and releasing all my heavy thoughts and fearful thoughts. I invite here my greatest self. And I release anything not in alignment. Very good. And then to close this exercise, we're going to just put ourselves into gratitude. Gratitude, such a powerful, powerful vibration. It just requires your intention, and it takes some practice, because at first you have to think about the things you're grateful for, and that's where you'll start. What are you grateful for today? Is it your children, your partner, your job, your friends? Can you simplify? Can you make it just, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for all the spirits and energies that guide us and show up in our place. I'm grateful for all my spiritual allies that have gained connection and have facilitated and brought together a beautiful relationship with. I want to thank the earth. I want to thank the sky. I want to thank all the elements of being. I want to have gratitude. I'm searching and bringing in that gratitude just for the simple things. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for this day. And as you think about the things you're grateful for, you're bringing your attention into the middle of you. What does that gratitude feel like? And you don't answer that question. It's an internal question. I want to feel my gratitude. And just take your attention and feel the vibration. That's really what gratitude is, the embodiment. Now what's happening is, since you're giving it all of your attention, you're now becoming gratitude. All of your attention and its feeling and its vibration grows within the middle of you. And you have a choice now, as you can spread that out. I'm going to take my gratitude that's living here in the middle of my body, in my heart and in my belly, and I'm going to spread it out all over my body. I take a deep breath into my gratitude. And as I exhale, my exhale goes, and it spreads the energy all over my body, out to the tips of my fingers, the tips of my toes, the top of my head, all the way out from the center of me out to my skin. I'm now vibrating in gratitude. Allow yourself to sit here as we all sit here together in gratitude. And I share my gratitude with you. You share your gratitude with me, and we share it with each other. Use your intention now as if you could project your gratitude out of you, like ripples, like you're a stone that was tossed in a pond, and off where you plopped in the pond, there's ripples, these ripples of energy coming off of you, letting those ripples move off into the world around you, filling your life with gratitude. Because if you fill your life with the energy of gratitude, it will bring you more to be grateful for. Send that gratitude out into the world. Share it with those who cannot find theirs. And if you can't find your gratitude today, I send you mine. Please receive and accept. And those of you that are generating and making beautiful gratitude, this beautiful signal, I receive your gratitude. And I love it. And I amplify it. And I make it more. And I send it back out. And you're receiving the gratitude, and bring it into you. Let it bring a smile on your face. Imagine what it's like to have waves of gratitude begin to cover your body. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the miracle in which you are. I'm grateful that you're alive. You're a walking, talking, singing, dancing miracle. And I'm so happy. I'm so proud for you. I love you so much. You're good. You're wonderful, and you're worthy. Feel the beauty of that. Feel the beauty of our collective energy. And if you need some, take some. Take some. Allow your cup to overflow and share with the world your loving gratitude. And as it vibrates out, let it vibrate back. You're now in flow. Now I'm going to begin to breathe with this. I'm going to empty all my air, sending out my gratitude with it. And I'm going to breathe in gratitude and hold it in me. Every pore of my skin received gratitude. And as I exhale, whoosh, I send it back out like those ripples, those waves of energy. I draw in gratitude. I love it. I hold it and I recirculate it. In with gratitude. Out with gratitude. In with love. Out with love. Very good. And Nike, thank you. I'm going to put my hands together now in prayer position in front of my heart. And I'm giving my thanks to the highest power. Giving my thanks to God, the creator, the living energy of all. I'm giving thanks to all my spiritual guides and energies, all the nature beings that surround us. I give thanks to the Paqo lineage, to all of the priests who have come before me and paved the way for me to be here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my brothers, my sisters. Thank you to all the medicine people of the world doing your job. Thank you to all of you who are loving and kind to each other and allow the greatest light to come through you into the world. I am so grateful and I love you so much. A Nike Kuyaiki. Thank you. I love you. Urpichai Sonkolai. A dove from my heart. Taking in a nice deep breath. Hold that in. And now as I exhale, I'm just going to open my hands and blow out through my hands. Whoosh. Releasing all the tension and pressure. Letting everything kind of go and settle. And beginning to bring my attention back into my body. Back into my hands and my feet. Moving my fingers and my toes. Making some fists, curling up my toes, moving my wrists and my ankles, pumping my calves. And then I'm just going to kind of stretch out a little bit. Oh, big stretch, big stretch. Oh, very good. Coming back to center, taking in a big cleansing breath. And coming back into the present moment. Wow. That was powerful. It might take a few minutes to get back to the planet. Shoosh. I'm teary-eyed and overwhelmed with joy inside right now. Who could feel that? Who connected with that? I connected with that gratitude and the gratitude of others so very deeply and beautifully. It's so wonderful. It's so wonderful when you start to train yourself to do that, because that's really what the shamanic practice is. When I teach people the shamanic practice, I'm teaching them practices to begin to create neurological pathways that lead to happiness, lead to freedom. And this is doable. It just starts here and then getting like more training as you go. But what I just did here was kind of like just a little kind of like a mini type of practice. And it's plenty. If you start there, if you start bringing healing, slowing down your breath, it's a form of prayer for me. All right. Like traditionally, like prayer, from a religious standpoint, looks some sort of way. I always try to challenge you to generate your own way of prayer. How do you want to communicate with the universe? Okay. And that is going to be very specific to you. There's no wrong way. Okay. It's allowing yourself to open up to receive, because we're so good at doing. We're doing and we're focused on doing. Sometimes we have to be to allow the light to flow through us. Because the thing is a body in the flow of light cannot really support illness, disease, sadness. It helps you to. And it's not that like being sad's a bad thing. Sometimes that's what it has to be. And when you do feel sad, you can honor it with your breath. You don't have to make it go away. You can breathe into it, and all you're doing is adding light to it, allowing yourself to feel. So lots of us have trapped emotions and things. And if you have trapped emotions, take some time and try to breathe into them. Something about breathing is very powerful in the form of energy for you to take light into you. Wherever it feels heavy or dark or dingy, or the things we push down, if you've had things in your life that have hurt you and you haven't been able to process them, allow yourself to begin to process. And what you'll see is this helps you to process. It'll help you to cry. It may help you to laugh some of these things out. It's very, very powerful work. Melody Hart. Let's see who's here. Oh, so much gratitude. Hi, Erica Lee. Morning, Mike Skilton. Melody Hart. Hi, Erica Lee. Hi. Tanya Johnson. Hi. I totally felt that. Like I hit a bong. I adore you. You're amazing. Thank you, Melody Hart. Angelica says, wow, rainbow waterfall washed my spirit and body from all heavy energy. That was beautiful. Wow, that's so nice. The rainbow waterfall. I've seen that before. How's your head feel now, my sister? Because you were saying that you were having a migraine issue this morning. That should loosen it up quite a bit. So grateful. I'm grateful for you. So I work with people all over the world, and migraines is a common thing, or headaches, chronic headaches. So this can help you, chronic headaches. So the headache is a symptom. The symptom is a messenger. It's telling you that you need to change something. So in the standpoints of physiology, for most people, the headache is related to not getting enough oxygen and fluid into the brain. Also, it could be a lack of sodium. So I usually have people take a handful of just kind of a little palm size amount of like Celtic salt or Himalayan sea salt and throw that in some water. And sometimes if you have a lemon, a little bit of lemon juice in there. But if it's just salt and water, that's fine. Stir it up. And then what you do is you structure the water. Like, so say I have fluid in here, and there's my Popeye sticker. This is like my gym water bottle. And I'll put my hands around it. And then what I'm doing is sending my intention into it. Your intention is everything always. I intend for this water to be medicine for me, for my body, for my mind. And it's your intention that goes in there. Okay. And then you drink the water with the salt. And I've seen this. It's really amazing. Another thing is that helps. Like, so Mary was having ocular migraines for a while. And what cured her was cold water immersions. So getting in that cold water. For most people, that's really terrifying because historically, cold weather and things exacerbate symptoms of migraines. But this is something totally different because you're not just going outside and breathing cold air and fighting it. What's happening is you're getting into a cold shower and it's lowering your body temperature. It's causing a vasoconstriction. So it's sending a lot more blood into the parts of your body, because that's usually what needs to happen. You just have to change the way that the fluid is flowing in the body. And then a lot of symptoms begin to shift and change. So you could try that out. Let's see. There's some, that's where I usually help. So I've been very successful in helping people with those things. And then kind of as maintenance and everything, you could start to do different kinds of practices. Like another one that works really well that I like to use for some people is light therapies. And then also getting out the first 30 minutes of sunlight. So if you can get outside in the first 30 minutes of sunlight, that morning sun, and allow it into your eyes. So you can, at that level, when it's that low, you can look at the sun and it doesn't hurt your eyes and you're taking in. It's also last 30 minutes of the sunset. You're able to take in the information of the sun. Very helpful for the pineal gland. But it's generally what it's just showing you is some sort of energy blockage. What we typically try to do is run away from the symptoms. So there's lots of people that have migraines. They go to a doctor. The doctor says, here, take this medication, but they're never again. It's holistic healing is getting to the root cause of the problem. Okay. And the root cause of the problem nearly always is nervous system dysfunction, because your nervous system is how you perceive reality. Everything you feel, sense, and understand about reality happens through the nervous system. And that's really what medications and things do. They alter the frequency coming into the nervous system. Okay, so this goes for neuropathy and nerve pain and things that seem incurable, because I've had all these things. I've had neuropathy, nerve pain, occipital neuralgia type migraine headaches, which are by far the worst. I have lots of vast experience here in this kind of area, and what I can tell you is it's all about changing your lifestyle. That's what needs to happen. Everybody wants the world to change, but they don't want to change themselves, and that's really where we have to go, is inward, make those changes inside. Oh, Nathaniel, good morning, brother. I was sun gazing when we did this. I love that. I noticed that was in the process of doing things you would suggest prior to your suggesting them. Well, we do have a psychic connection, my brother. My head feels light. I'm kind of floating. How wonderful. I'm so glad. See what's possible? So any of you that watched, our friend Angelica said when she first came on, she said she was having trouble. She's struggling. I think the word was struggling. That tells you the mindset and everything that's going on. I am struggling with a migraine today, right? Went from struggling with a migraine to my head feels light and I'm kind of floating. So what's possible for you? Do you see? And that was just kind of a mini kind of thing. We can always go deeper. It's also, the thing is understanding that there's most likely for most people, when you have some sort of like chronic disease or illness, there's always some sort of story or an emotional imprint that's underlying that. And so that takes work because it's subconscious, and people are like, well, I don't know. You'll ask someone a question. Well, you'll get down to understanding that a lot of the suffering that's happening is due to choice. And you ask someone, well, why are you choosing that? And they'll say, I don't know. Perfect. When you don't know, that's perfect. And that drives the ego mind crazy because it always needs to know. It needs to be in control. But wherever you get to a question, an open-ended internal question, why am I choosing this? And why do I do what I do? And you don't know, that's when you need to slow down your breathing, stop the thinking. You're just letting the thinking go, and you're asking the universe for help or guidance. And that's what ask and you shall receive means. I'm asking for that guidance. I'm asking for that potential. And what you'll start to notice is as you start letting this kind of thinking go, new thoughts out of nowhere will start to pop up because you're getting this part of your mind out of the way and allowing yourself into the subconscious higher mind. And now it can bring into you new information. Oh, maybe I could try that. Maybe I can let go of this. And then you can start asking yourself questions. How do I feel? I love that question. You can ask yourself that question right now. You may be surprised because, we just kind of go through life. You walk into the store, you see somebody, hey, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine. Whatever, kind of go on. I want you to ask yourself from time to time, how do you feel? Closing your eyes, and you don't say, how do I feel? You're asking yourself in the third person. And you breathe, how do you feel? How do you really feel? Like, how does life feel to you? And then you can sit there, and what this does will bring up the subconscious cycles and thoughts that you may be having, and you're really unaware of it. How do I feel? I feel quite happy. I feel very content. I feel lucky. That's how I feel. I feel like wow, I'm so very fortunate to be alive and to be healthy again. Especially for me coming back from terminal lung disease and nearly dying, and 12 other incurable symptoms and arthritis and hearing loss and all kinds of things that the medical system told me that were incurable. Coming back from that to here, gosh, that overloads me with gratitude every day if I give it my attention. And then it also sometimes brings up guilt because there's parts of me that feel guilty because I don't always recognize that. I don't always have it makes me feel bad. Like, how could I ever be angry when I've come from somewhere so terrible? And then that trains you to forgive yourself. It's okay. Sometimes you're just not going to feel good. Sometimes you're just not going to be happy. And sometimes that's what needs to happen. Sometimes being pissed off is what needs to happen. It's not that it's wrong. Sometimes being angry needs to happen. Okay. The most important thing is not trying to fight your emotions, fight your feelings, or fight other people's emotions or feelings. It's accepting them. I accept them as they come. And then what happens is their feelings, the feelings come, they're visitors. I love them. I let them be with me, and they go. Emotions, however, that's usually connected to a story, and that's a recycling pattern. Those are things that need to be kind of more dug into and opened up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My head feels light. Yeah. Mike Skilton says Acadia rhythms. I think you may be saying circadian rhythms. Yes, it can affect sun gazing will affect your circadian rhythm. Why does people with disabilities have more powerful gifts? Neurodivergence. I've explained this many times. People, because I don't call it, you're calling it disability. That's how I call it. That's what the world will call it. So people that don't function like other people. So, like in this case, our sister Brianna Burgess, she has like essentially diagnosed autism. I don't really recognize that so much the way that the medical system makes it like it's a disability. I understand it more as a divergent style of neurology. And what that is it's actually a superpower. It just hasn't been used properly. So what we do is with people that have like neurological difference, like even like Down syndrome and things. Down syndrome people are by no means handicapped. They just work differently than we do. And they have the ability to learn things that most people can't, that aren't neurodivergent. I also have a form of neurodivergence. I've had like, if I were measured, I would have been somewhere on the autism spectrum most of my life. I've been like socially awkward in a way and disconnected from things. The way my mind perceives things is more towards what one would call a neurodivergent or autistic spectrum type of being. But it's people that have these things. So I'm fully aware now. I've worked with a lot of people that have autism on varying scales. And what I notice right away is their channel. So I'm an energy, I feel energy. And everyone has a channel that comes down the center of them and informs this body. And so what I've noticed is people with neurodivergence, the more neurodivergent they are, the more potential there is in that vertical column. It's just those things need to be opened, but that's not what happens in our normal world. We take these people, and then what we do is we try to normalize them or make them normal or put them in positions where we're not teaching them. We assume they can't do things or assume they can't learn or assume things instead of catering to what's going on, helping them through the complexities of emotion. It's just because they don't operate like how we've been taught normal is. We assume that it can't be done or something, but it can be done. And I've seen it over and over. I've seen people that earlier were incapable of understanding their emotions and had no belief or understanding themselves begin to rise. And Brianna, you're a really beautiful testament to that. To see you over the last few years go from this woman who showed up and was really introverted and kind of, you were like emotionally crippled is how it felt to me. You were really crushed in some emotional way, and now it's really open for you. You're so much different. You're so much more alive and vibrant and vocal and do things in your life now, things you didn't believe you could do before. And the thing is it's only been a couple years. What happens in a couple more years, and a couple more years, and a couple more years, as you continue to heal yourself, as you continue to grow, as you continue to feed that neurological gift, because that allows you to bring in more conscious frequency, and that helps you to help other people around you. So when you go into a group, when you go to your sound baths, you're an asset to the people around you in the room because you're bringing in healing energy, because you choose to. You've now trained yourself and worked with me in the shamanic sense. You're very much a shaman. You're a particular type of shaman, a powerful channel shaman. You're a channel that can radiate into groups of people. I love the question, though. Why does people with disabilities have more powerful gifts? I wouldn't say that it's more powerful. Okay. So that's kind of a misunderstanding. I wouldn't say more powerful. I would say that very specific. It's a very specific kind of gift. All human beings have powerful gifts within them. No one is greater or less than the other, but all are necessary. Angelica, the healing exercise took me to a totally different part of my body. Oh, neat. Yeah, listen to them. You're going to be paralyzed, me. Again. Thanks, I need that memory. What you can do with it, Mr. Mike? All right, so the floor is open for any questions or anything you want to share. Like, let's talk about life. Is there a point that you'd like to discuss, or is there something going on with your health or your emotions? Or I'm here to help you. I'm here for the next, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes at least, at your service. So feel free. Ask the Shaman is the name of the show. And what I do is, I'm not saying I know all the answers. What I can do is potentially open up a potential pathway for the answers to come to you. That's kind of the role of the shaman, is to create an energetic container in which, for reality or spirit or the universe, however one sees it, to do the work. Shamans are essentially map holders, way showers. Some people confuse us to be other ideas of things, but at the deepest level, it's really what it comes down to. My priesthood and what I do, that's what I do, is I help people open up the possibility, and I call in the certain potentials and energies that exist in the field. And that's up to the person to be able to connect with them and use them. No one can do it for you. No one's going to come to save you, in essence. It's going to come from within you. It always does. Something interesting I started doing. So for those of you that know me pretty well, you know that I like to dive into Christian scripture and find the truth within it. Let the things that have been mistranslated and misunderstood move through. And something, I'm not going to talk too much about what I've learned so far, but I'm working right now, because one of my most powerful books of teaching is the book of Matthew, because I really think it encapsulates the deep teachings of Yeshua, of Jesus, which is really the most important thing about the Christian religion. It's not about all the rules, the fear, and things like that. It's more about the teachings of Yeshua, which those teachings are directly about you. But now I've started reading, I'm really into a removed book, the Book of Thomas, and I recommend that. So anybody that's into scripture, take some time today and read the Book of Thomas. Tanya says, since I've been more disciplined in my morning practice, I am seeing things out of my periphery vision. I've also felt a lot of vertigo. Is this common? I'm excited, but not sure if I'm just wishful thinking. Yeah. So I think I was just talking about that. It must be why I was talking about it. So what you need to do is work on your vestibular system. It's just showing to you. So always remember a symptom. Vertigo is a symptom, and that symptom is directly related to the vestibular system, the feelings of imbalance, the feelings of dizziness. That's all a neurological dysfunction. So how do you remedy that? Is by working with the neurology that's associated with that. So what I would have asked you to do today, Tanya Johnson, is I would say to do the exercise I was talking about at the beginning of the show, where you put on a pair of socks. I actually don't like to do that. Let's rephrase that. I started off that way. I like to start barefoot, and I grab a sock, and I'll start usually with one foot or the other, in this case, the left. And what I do is I balance on one foot, I put on the sock, and I try to stay on that foot. Okay. And then I go back down, I take the sock off, and then I take a break, and then I switch to the other foot. So I may bounce back a few times, and you're doing this, and what you're doing is you're challenging your balance. As you're challenging your balance, what happens is from your toes and the bottom of your foot all the way up your body, your whole nervous system is working to balance. And so what this is doing, and it's also, this creates a connection within that internal gyroscope, the balance centers of the brain. And as you're working with these things, you're creating a coherent neurology, because otherwise what happens is we kind of step away from that. So it comes into training the balance is the first thing. And then there's some other things that you can work with that I can tell you about. I'm not going to lay it all out here, but there's some things that can happen. And it's just like what I was saying is vertigo. The symptom of vertigo is directly related to neurological issues within the vestibular system. This is why I work, especially as you're growing, as you're expanding in your spiritual journey, the energy, and now especially post eclipse, there's a lot more frequency and energy available. It's here, but we have to train our neurology to be able to pick it up. So it's already here. Like It can't just get into you. The more sensitive you are, the more it gets in. For me, I'm extremely sensitive. Since the eclipse, a lot of new energy has been coming in. Lots of new frequency and consciousness. I'm letting go of things I don't need, purging. So it's available to all of us, but we have to work on parts of the nervous system. And I'm going to continue to work on mine to accept more frequency that's coming in. Right? That's the work. The work. I wish more people could understand that your nervous system is what needs the work. And sometimes that work is just rest. Sometimes the greatest work for your nervous system is to slow your breath and relax. And release. So there's a lot going on there, Tanya. This just means, so you're having new things happen. That means that you're growing. And that's what you want, right? The Gospel of Thomas, yes. I don't know why, but I feel like you could talk about the importance of Condor and Paqo traditions. Okay, I can do that. So in the Andean tradition, so Angelica is talking about the condor, and the condor is a very powerful spiritual energy in which we connect with. And so another way to look at the animal energies is it's the attributes of the animal. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about the condor. And what does the condor do? It flies high. So this represents the upper world, the upper consciousness. And then another way is to see the condor has the ability to see from a higher view. So sometimes in the shamanic sense, when you call in the energy of the condor, right now I'm calling in the energy of the condor. And now what happens is I allow myself either to ride, fly with, or become the condor. Okay, so now what's happened is now I'm flying in the sky. And this can be more like a shamanic journey, connecting with the spirit animal, with the animal of the spirit. Now I'm flying high, I'm soaring, and I can see mountains and water. And then I bring that closer. I bring that in towards me. And then what I do is I use it as a tool to see my life from the higher perspective. So you're removing yourself from being here in the judgment of everything, in the ego mind, and you're allowing yourself to come back, and now you're the observer. So what it is it's essentially that. It's a way of training yourself or calling in the energy to have the ability to be able to observe yourself, your thinking, what you're doing, and your choices from a higher perspective. Not being in it, you're watching it from a third angle. And that often brings forth truth, because sometimes when you're in it and you're in the heat of things and it's difficult, you can't see solutions because it's activating the sympathetic dominant parts of the nervous system in the brain. So what you're is in a defense kind of mode, defense network. So if you allow yourself and you work with, when I call in that spirit, it's a part of me. The condor isn't separate from me. It's a representation of my higher self. So I'm calling that. And then now what happens is I can view, I can be the observer of my life. And from that point of observation, that nest of observation, I can start to make new choices and decisions. I can see where Anthony is shortchanging himself. I can see where Anthony's hurting himself with his thoughts. I can see where he can start to let go of some things, some relationships or vices or whatever it is. So that's really, for me, there's other kinds of ideas in the Andean tradition, but I'm just kind of explaining what my interpretation and feeling is of the great condor. The great condor is very much an energetic spiritual tool in which to access higher consciousness. We also attribute that to the northern, to the eastern wind. In our tradition, we have a connection. We call it seke or CK lines. They're lines of energy and information that kind of are meridian lines to the planet, but they're also connected into you and everything. Another way I like to call this is the living nervous system of all things. Everything's interconnected and part of one energy, just like your body is. Your body, you don't consider any parts of it separate from itself, but your body's not separate from this body either. It's just we perceive it that way. And that can change. That's really what spiritual energetic awareness is knowing that, oh, I'm not just this physical body. I'm more than this physical body. It's not that this physical body is bad and you don't want it. you want to. Some people get caught there too in the spiritual journey. They become aware, like, well, what's the point? I don't need this body. I can just stay in my spiritual space. Well, part of it is being in this body, learning how to master this way of being, master being human, which is awesome. I love being human. Huh. Thank you, Angelica. Wow, literally have Thomas open. Of course you do. Ooh, I got the chill up my left side. Cool. Thomas 66. Show me the stone that the builders rejected. That is the cornerstone. Uh-huh. That can be interpreted so many ways. And that's what I love about scripture. There's no wrong way to interpret it. All right. What I tried to get people to do is try not to interpret it with your thoughts, with your thinking, interpret with your feeling. So when you hear, show me the stone that the builders rejected, that is the cornerstone. The mind will be like, what does that mean? What is that? What is that? What is that? What I always try to get you to do, and how I read scripture is I don't think about it. I see those words, I take them in, and instead I feel. And then that can usually bring forward new points of awareness. I have a person that lays next to me during the sound bath, and she is amazing. I bet. Makes perfect sense why I felt we could talk about the condor. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, condor energy is my favorite. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be a condor. That's like specific to the Andean traditions, the eagle too. I invite you to call to you whatever bird shows up. I call to the highest energy of the large winged ones of the sky is what I call upon. So sometimes spirit birds show up of species I've never seen. I couldn't tell you what they are. And that's okay, because that should be specific to you. Your spiritual guidance is going to show up for you the way it needs to show up. It doesn't have to show up the way you expect it to. And it never really does. Your expectations actually can hold you back. We actually had a spirit guide class the other day, which was awesome. I've done a bunch of these, but this one was hands down so amazing. All of my guidance personally evolved with everyone else's. The group was amazing. But I recommend that. Anybody who wants to learn more about getting in touch with their spiritual guidance, first is getting the connection. Second is learning how to properly communicate. And the communication is nothing like the mind, how we communicate with each other through words. That's not how it is. It's more of a feeling communication, but this takes some guidance, some downloads. That's another thing the shaman can do. We can initiate you into these lines of energy, and then you can begin to use them. If you begin to use them, it strengthens your connection and you develop your own relationship. And that's what it's all about, is developing relationships with spirit. And another way to say that is developing relationships with the quantum field, developing relationships with what is generally unseen to us, because there's so much more. Whatever we are seeing is only a fraction of what's there. It's measured already. The human eye can only see a fraction, and I mean a sliver, 0.035%. 0.035% of the entire electromagnetic field is all that's visible to these eyes, to your standard vision. Now, when we open up the energetics of the body, we start to open up the internal awareness. The nervous system itself is all one organ. It's an organ in which to be able to take in information. It's just parts of it are numb. It's like if you sat on your hand or you sat for a certain period of time, your leg falls asleep. Well, your spiritual gifts fall asleep too. They're wide open when you're a kid, but what happens is they start to put you in school and start to train you to, it starts off, hey, Billy, this is fun. Let's create. Think about when you're in preschool and you're in elementary school, up until probably about second-ish grade. I remember that's kind of my memory. Around second grade, things start to become a lot more serious. And then slowly recess falls away, playtime falls away, nap time falls away, story time falls away. Then by the time you're in high school, you're so conditioned, it's very literal. You're being trained to be an obedient worker in the world. And this keeps us separated from the two most powerful things the human has. That's control of your emotions, because no one teaches that. No one, You're never taught that. There's not some, I didn't grow up in a neighborhood with shamans, seers, and sages to help me understand my emotional energy. If we're taught this from a younger age, it's going to be a lot different world. Okay. So you're taught about your emotional energy, how to honor your emotions and process them. Right. I've seen small children. I work with people that work with their children, and they've started to teach their toddlers how to breathe. I've seen people be able to train a toddler how to regulate their emotions, which seems impossible, right? I've had a toddler before, and it seemed like, and this, she was a really easy to deal with child, but she couldn't regulate her emotions. And now I'm seeing children being able to, their parents, and so, oh, it's okay, honey, and this and that, saying, trying to be with them, being open and receptive, not just trying to soothe them, helping them to soothe themselves. Breathe with me, honey. It's going to be okay. And then those tears and the frustration and the rage of that child now, instead of the parent coming there and doing all the work of comfort and building a mentality that if I cry, I'll find comfort, they're teaching the child to, here, child, this is how you begin to comfort yourself. And this builds an internal strength within the mind of that child. Something that's just not here. It's just starting to happen. Let's see. Here's Tom Shuck. How do you think the Bible was written? Was it channeled, or was Moses burning some bushes? Is there a difference to you? Because you're saying the burning bush. So, channeled. Of course it's channeled. So you're asking a question that's kind of redundant. How else would that be, right? So it's just consciousness. It's the same consciousness that's in me. It's in you. As a spiritual teacher, a lot of the things that come through me are coming not from my mind or a memory. I'm not big about reading books. That's not how my connection works. I have a direct connection to source, and I rely on that to come in. And so this is how the scripture was written. Someone channeled it. They were connected to source, and they wrote it down. They wrote down the intelligence that was coming from the upper world and put that into words. Well, you don't really need words and that kind of thing. But as for Moses, the thing is what the most important part is not to take the Bible as this is the first mistake. So even by you saying that, there's a part of your mind that is relegating the Bible to it being like a historical event. Let's not do that. Let's just take it as a story. If you take it just as an allegory story, now this eliminates these ideas of seriousness. It's not meant to be like this serious, scary thing, like how, religion's typically taught. It's meant to be a fun-loving understanding of things. It's meant to be understood and felt within you. So my first step for most people is try to not look at the Bible as a historical account, because it doesn't need to be that. I wouldn't even look at it that way. What if Moses never existed? Then it changes everything. Now you're just reading the story. The story is where the magic is, not in Moses, not in this guy that may or may not have existed. Do you see? It's more about just like Jesus. What if Jesus never actually, there's no actual proof that there's ever a physical version of this Messiah? We don't know that. Okay, we think that. And it's okay if you want to think that, go ahead, but that limits the story. I like to more look at it. What if it's just allegory? What if none of this existed at all and the story is all for me? Because it is. It's your reality. If it's in your reality and it's talking to you, whose is it? It's yours. The story's about you. I'm having a deja vu, a strong one right now. Like I've been right here with you before. Collective resistance arises there because so many people have been trained into a belief system that they're willing to fight to protect it. And it's something that at the core of them, they don't actually believe. It's fear. Instead of belief in really feeling and having faith, it's fear, because someone at a very young age put into one's mind that if you don't follow this and what I'm saying, you're going to burn forever in an afterlife. That was how I was trained as a young person. But my spiritual immune system quickly rejected that. It didn't make sense to me that I should be afraid of my creator. I should be afraid of a living God that creates all of this. It's just because there's a misunderstanding. The human mind loves to create separation. The ego loves to create separation. This is good and this is bad. I'm sorry, but good and bad do not exist. Those are actually opinions of the mind. The universe does not respond to good or bad. It doesn't know good or bad. It responds to your frequency, your signal. And these are the true teachings of the Bible. The true teachings of the Bible are meant to help you know thyself. And the more you go to know yourself, the more you realize that you know nothing, because it's all a story. Okay? It's all a story. Your story. What story are you agreeing to? Make it a beautiful one. I just seen two Anthony's in the screen and a beautiful feminine energy in between. Cool. That's my Pacarina. I called her in earlier when we got started. That's my divine feminine birth spirit. She's often with me. I've had a large problem growing up, disconnect from my divine feminine energy due to the abuses of my life. I grew up with my mother and my two sisters who are not very loving to me. And that's how I would put it. I won't go too deep into there. I think they've done everything I need them to do, which was to be that way so that way I could find this, to find balance within me. So that's something that's happened to me. I've really learned how to balance my divine feminine and masculine energy. Like, I'm no longer afraid to not be tough. Like, growing up, the way it was for me, my mother trained me to basically be vicious in some sort of way. And I found that that's just not who I am. That's not what I want to be. And I spent most of my life there. But my divine feminine energy is a beautiful thing. And I continue to work to create even more balance, because I don't think that ends. I don't think you just reach balance and that's it. I think things need rebalanced over time or over experience, because I'm not the same person day to day. Every day I allow myself to be born again anew. I don't stay in the old story. And this is what I try to teach others to do. This isn't easy, okay? I've trained my mind. I have a very powerful mind, and I've trained myself to allow myself to expand from one day to the next. I'm under no obligation to be the same person who I was yesterday, and neither are you. If anything, I'm going to challenge you always. Can you be a better person today? How can you be more of service to yourself and to the world? It starts from there. Loving the self is not selfishness. Self-care is not selfish. That self-care pours out from you and into the world. It's actually more selfish to not take care of the self and people please. Most people don't know that. People think that because I'm a people pleaser, it's because I'm putting everyone in front of me. Well, why are you doing that? To help you feel better about yourself. So you have to understand that. You have to become aware. I did that for a long time. I was so fixated on how others feel around me, and that's not really up to me. All I have to do is feel good within me. If I feel good and happy within me, it's up to you how you feel, right? And I can help aid that. I can help add to that. If you need help or you need love, I want to offer that to you. If you just want to be happy with me, I offer that to you too. But what I understand now, if anybody who's on my Facebook page, my profile, my cover photo is a large chalice. I created that on an AI program. It's a large like chalice, and it's overflowing with this crystally energy water. And that's something that I talk about a lot lately, is keeping your cup overflowing. Because you can't change the world. You can't help anyone pouring from an empty cup. You have to take care of you first. So if you're not taking care of your health and your mind and your spirit on a daily basis, that's the first step to having a very happy, free, abundant, and healthy life. If you're not doing that, if you're not taking time every day to take care of your mind, your body, and spirit, you're going to be deficient in one of those areas, and you're going to have symptoms. The symptoms are messengers telling you that there's a change that needs to be made. When I work with my 11-year-old son, for some reason starts to panic, like he can't catch his breath. Is this due to lack of practice? It's like he forgets how to get oxygen. Any advice? Yeah, I probably would have to sit with him to be able to sense the energy and see kind of what's going on. But yeah, I mean, if you're not using the diaphragm, that's, plus he's 11, so he's pretty young. So it's more or less catching, slowing stuff down, right? Practice is everything, that's panic. So if he's panicking, it's just showing that there's some sort of unresolved emotional data that's happening, that's beginning to come up. Because your son's 11 years old. 11 years ago, you weren't awake. So you have to understand that your conditioning, your program was downloaded into him in the first 7 years. Okay. So it's not that you've done anything wrong. You've given him everything he needs, but it's understanding that when he starts to breathe, it's going to bring up the program and there's going to be symptoms. I can't breathe. I can't. It's his body reacting because it doesn't know what to do. So you have to slow that breath down. And it takes practice. Being okay, explaining to him like it's okay, whatever you feel, let it to come up. If so, as I'm digging into this and I'm feeling more, I can feel it's really low near his belly button. There's some sort of blockage happening there. And so you have to try to train him to be able to release that. Because you're just saying he, for some reason, starts to panic. The panic is the symptom. That's just showing you that why is he panicking about breathing? Because of how it feels to him. So I would slow the breathing down. But, at the deepest level, I can't, these are all just surface level things. It would have to go a lot deeper to really find out. My last question referred to breathwork. Cool. Thank you so much. My absolute pleasure. Okay, everybody, we're about an hour 15. I'm going to wrap it up today. Mary has a guided meditation tonight. I don't know if anyone's heard, but tonight at 7 p.m., Mary is going to be leading a guided meditation. So that's going to be pretty cool. Check that out. Sign up, get in there. I'll be back Tuesday. Boo, 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 boo. I don't think there's anything else I need to touch on right now currently, except for I'm always going to tell you to breathe and be love. I want to thank you all so much for coming into this space this morning, joining in this beautiful union of souls. I also want to tell you to jump on over to our website, thepositivepineapple.org, and book a session. Also, check out on the Facebook page, I posted some of the more recent reviews that have come in, people that are sharing their testimonials with some of their experiences. And I also want to invite you to share your experience, even if it's just here on the lives. If you're sitting here with me in the lives and you feel that they're helpful to you in any sort of way, I ask you to express that in words and send it to me in a message or an email. And then what I can do is I can use your words in a testimonial. It's up to you. You don't have to be named. I can use an alias. Some people don't want to be, it mostly has to do with their families and things. They don't want their family to know they're working with a shaman because they'll become very judgmental. And that's okay. I'm here to keep you covered. I'm here to keep you under wraps, however that needs to be. So you don't have to tell anybody about that if you don't want to. You could just share, and sharing from your heart helps other people be able to see potential and possibility. That works really well. A lot of the people that come to me are people that come to me more organically. I do try to work and try to be out here and try to recruit people in some sort of way, but also it seems to be the best of things kind of show up by people organically showing up, learning about what we're doing, what I'm doing. Spending some time in some of these even live streams helps them to open up to potential and possibility. But your words could be very helpful in helping someone else see a possibility. They may relate to your frequency and they may open them up. So try to share, try to, I'm just asking that you share. That would be the greatest thing you can do. If you're not willing to do that, that's okay. You can help in other ways, help support our mission of healing monetarily. We need help to keep everything running and moving and keep helping people all over the world. Mary and I do lots and lots of free work with people. That's majority of the work we do out here is working with people that don't have the ability to compensate, to help us back out. So it creates a little bit of an energy imbalance, but we rely on the kindness of you and of others to help us along our journey. Even if it's a couple dollars, that couple dollars goes into helping other people. That's all I'm really focused on now. I'm not here to try to create. I don't want to be Joel Osteen. You know what I mean? I want you to just be free. That's what I want to happen. And so together we can make that happen. And that starts by helping with support. So help support our mission. You can find places to donate on our website and also in the descriptions of the video. All right. Or you can talk to me directly. I'll give you a Venmo code or something. Okay. Every little bit helps. Thank you for your generous donations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of you make beautiful donations. Some a couple dollars, some many dollars. Some people are very very generous and donate $1,000. That's happened more than once. One that just happened recently. As a matter of fact, someone who chose to remain anonymous donated $1,000 to the Positive Pineapple. And what do? We use that to facilitate a bunch of healings within the last 3 weeks for people that are kind of waiting on a list, because it requires us to be able to put in the time. You know, it's just about time and energy, and money is just energy. That's all we ask, is for an energy exchange to create. I love you all so much, and I'm so grateful to be here in this position as your loving shamanic priest, your friend, a spiritual leader of this community. And it makes me super, super happy to help you all grow into your leadership. And I know that as we continue down this journey, you'll become more and more attuned, more and more capable. And I'm always going to encourage you to be loving and help as many people as possible. Okay. And I love you all so much. And I hope you have a beautiful day and a beautiful rest of your week. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Angelica. I'm so glad you're able to heal your headache today. Look how powerful you are. Nike kuyaiki wakichai. Wurkanuna wakichai. Nike. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Nardu. Great work today. It was awesome. Thank you, Nardu. I love you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Remember to breathe and be love and love yourself. Have a beautiful day. And it sure is. Bye-bye.